I think we actually might have just seen the worst call in the entire history of sport. And like, this is a shock that it is actually not DiJonai Carrington committing a flagrant foul. DiJonai Carrington got flagrantly fouled.
Dane Carrington is quickly becoming one of the most disliked figures in the entire WNBA. And after what went down in that Dallas Wings versus Golden State Valkyries game a few nights ago, her reputation just took another turn, and not in a direction she's going to like. After weeks of being at the center of controversy, Carrington finally got a brutal taste of her own medicine. And let's just say the timing couldn't have been more poetic. This might just be the most satisfying twist of the entire 2025 season. If you agree with instant karma, then comment below. Fire Dane. Let's go.
DiJonai, DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai, DiJonai.
While the WNBA's officiating has been consistently questionable all year, Carrington seemed to have a golden ticket, dodging the kind of egregious calls that other players, especially Caitlyn Clark, have been getting hit with every week. That all changed during this game against Golden State when, for the first time, the refs turned their infamous incompetence in her direction. And oh, how quickly the tables turned.
So the ball gets swung. Janelle Salon shoots the ball. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. So DiJonai Carrington is just shielding the ball out of bounds. She's just shielding the ball out of bounds, as you do. And Tiffany Hayes tackles her to the ground. Tackles her to the ground.
With less than 2 minutes to go in and Dallas trailing by 3, Janelle Saloon launched a deep shot that missed, setting off a chaotic chase for the rebound. Carrington hustled toward the loose ball, but made the smart decision to let it roll out of bounds to give her team possession. It was a savvy move, the kind of heads-up basketball you'd expect from a vet. But then all hell broke loose. Tiffany Hayes, barreling down the court like a freight train, rammed full speed into Carrington from behind. Both hit the floor hard. It looked like a textbook foul on Hayes. Reckless, uncontrolled contact from behind.
Does not look nor play like she's 35. Okay, she be bringing it to them girls each and every night. She got that, acting like that face harness, okay, like to protect her face, her eyes, her nose, whatever that is. She be look like a dominatrix to me. I'd be like, bro, who is that? She looks like it's giving Scarecrow. Or like a Black Raven vibe, okay, like a hawk. And she looks like a bird of prey, okay? And that's how she plays. She plays like a bird of prey, while the other girls in the court are just worms to her, okay? They are bird food, because she be cooking and eating it.
With less than 2 minutes to go in and Dallas trailing by 3, Janelle Saloon launched a deep shot that missed, setting off a chaotic chase for the rebound. Carrington hustled toward the loose ball, but made the smart decision to let it roll out of bounds to give her team possession. It was a savvy move, the kind of heads-up basketball you'd expect from a vet. But then all hell broke loose. Tiffany Hayes, barreling down the court like a freight train, rammed full speed into Carrington from behind. Both hit the floor hard. It looked like a textbook foul on Hayes. Reckless, uncontrolled contact from behind.
And was able to draw a foul. I'm like, what is this? I mean, she almost deleted freaking DiJonai. I thought, like, I was really gravely concerned for DiJonai Carrington's life and health. I'm like, did y'all not just see Tiffany Hayes just throw her body up against her and slam her to the ground? This is crazy. Literally slammed her. DiJonai Carrington got pushed into a freaking old white man's lap because of Tiffany Hayes jumping on her like she ain't got no sense.
Now here's where the script flips and the karma comes rolling in. Normally, if a call this horrendous happened, the league's fans would be up in arms, rallying behind the victim, calling out the officiating disaster and demanding accountability. But this time, this wasn't just any player. This was DJ Carrington. And the response from fans wasn't outrage, it was applause. The online reaction was fast, unfiltered, and absolutely savage. The message was loud and clear. She got what she deserved.
Going down for a fast break layup, DiJonai winds up and smacks her across the head, and Skylar is on the ground having a hard time getting up. But this was something where people are saying, okay, DiJonai, this is happening a little bit too much for my liking. These hard fouls, these reckless plays are happening a little bit too much. And I want to show you guys one more play that was also in that game that actually injured Gabby Williams. Now, if you watch here, Gabby Williams is going up for a little mid-range jumper. DiJonai jumps to try to block her, and she comes down to where Gabby Williams doesn't have enough landing space. So she lands in her landing space, and then Gabby Williams rolls her.
The comment section wasn't filled with sympathy. It was a celebration. People who had seen Carrington jab Caitlyn Clark in the eye, rack up dirty fouls, and act like the league's biggest instigator were now watching her finally be on the receiving end. Fans were posting things like, "Finally, that's karma catching up with her." And now she knows what Caitlyn's been dealing with all season. It was one of those rare moments in sports where justice didn't just happen. It landed like a dunk right on top of her reputation.
That call on DiJonai when Tiffany literally flew over her, wild. And then if you saw Paige's face when it was like, I think like 55 seconds left on the clock or something like that, and the coach was like giving them the next play, bruh.
Reaction was so one-sided it became its own story. Even though Carrington was the clear victim of a terrible whistle, nobody cared. The public had already made up their minds, and that's what happens when you build your brand on dirty play and bad sportsmanship. Even when something unfair happens to you, nobody rushes to your defense. Her reputation had come full circle, and now she was reaping what she had shown.
So once again, DiJonai Ratchet as Carrington is back at it again, being the dirty player that she is, man. So now we're pulling players to the floor by their hair. But what did we tweet earlier this week, everybody? Y'all fans swear I'm such a dirty player. I'm so over this narrative. But I just play hard as and I just make a play on the ball, and I'm tired of people calling me a dirty player.
Honestly, calling it one of the worst foul calls of the year might still be too generous. Carrington played it perfectly, pulled out of the scramble, kept her feet planted, didn't initiate contact. Hayes charged in like she was trying to bulldoze a brick wall and flattened her. Yet the whistle blew on Carrington. It was so absurd that even Valky's fans, the ones benefiting from the call, were cringing. Dallas fans were livid, and rightly so. The Wings lost their chance at a critical possession in a tight game, all because the referees decided to make up their own version of basketball physics. The Valkyries capitalized and pulled away to win by 10. But the real story wasn't the final score. It was that outrageous call.
It's Dallas ball. But do you know what another referee called? Do you know what another referee called? So one says it's Dallas ball. Another referee, as you can see right here, Salon miss, Valkyrie's rebound. Apparently Tiffany Hayes got the rebound, and DiJonai fouled Tiffany Hayes. Apparently Tiffany Hayes got the rebound and got fouled by jumping on DiJonai Carrington.
What made it all so deliciously ironic was that this is the same DJ Carrington who has spent the season escaping accountability. This is the player who poked Caitlyn Clark in the eye on national television and skated away without so much as a technical. This is the player who had flagrant fouls magically downgraded, who sparked altercations that required referee protection, and who still managed to avoid meaningful discipline. And now, after months of dishing it out, she finally had to take some back. And on one of the most pivotal plays of the night, as everyone else has seen this angle,
I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
this wasn't some meaningless game in the middle of the season. Dallas is clinging to playoff hopes and needed every single win it could grab. That terrible call, that moment where Carrington got called for just standing there, directly led to a swing in momentum that helped Golden State seal the victory. It wasn't just karma, it was karma with consequences. Her team paid the price for her reputation, and there was nothing she could do about it. That's the beauty of poetic justice. Carrington spent months acting like she was above the rules. She threw elbows, taunted players, and took cheap shots. And when the refs ignored it, she strutted like she owned the league. But on this night, the script flipped. The referees didn't just stop protecting her. They flat out turned on her. And for once, the same broken officiating that's been torturing players like Caitlyn Clark all season finally came for one of the dirtiest players in the league.
Is this? Look! Pulling players to the floor by their hair is not making plays on the ball. This is not basketball. WNBA. When is she gonna get fined, suspended, or kicked out of the league for this reckless behavior? This is the fourth incident. The Lynx incident, taking out Ariel Atkins, taking out Skylar Diggins, and now the LA Sparks. When is it gonna stop, man? When is accountability gonna be taken for her being the dirty player and ratchet that she is?
When a player gets hosed by the refs, there's a built-in expectation that the basketball community will at least show some sympathy. Fans usually sound off on social media. Analysts will go to the replay and highlight how blatantly wrong the call was, and the player in question often becomes a symbol of how bad officiating is hurting the league. But in Jane Carrington's case, crickets, actually worse than crickets. The overwhelming public reaction was basically, that's what she gets. And that tells you everything about how little goodwill she's built up across the league. When people are more entertained by your misfortune than outraged by the blown call, you've officially crossed into villain territory. And it's a sign that fans are losing faith not just in certain players, but in the WNBA's ability to enforce fairness consistently.
And she ends up getting Shepard in the face, the nose. I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after Carrington goes for the block, watch her pull back right here. And that's the part that I don't know if you separate that. Do you separate?
See, the truth is that fans should be upset about a blown call, no matter who it happens to. If the league wants to be taken seriously, it has to operate under the assumption that justice matters, even when the person getting screwed is someone you don't like. But Carrington's case proves we're not there. Instead of demanding better officiating, fans were satisfied watching karma finally show up. That tells you something deeper is broken. Carrington became a vessel for years of pent-up frustration. Not just for her wonky court behavior, but for the league's refusal to hold her accountable. Her style of play, often reckless and borderline dangerous, made her the perfect face for what fans see as a bigger cultural problem in the WNBA. The lack of real consequences. And when the league allows that reputation to fester, don't be surprised when people celebrate a bad call instead of protesting it. That's not healthy for any sport.
Doesn't matter how many times DiJonai Carrington wants to get on her social media and want to claim that she's the victim and that she's not a dirty player. The league has rescinded fouls. Yeah, the league's rescinding flagrant fouls on you because it's run by a bunch of cowards. They're flagrant fouls. They're dirty plays. They're trashy plays. Someone's going to get very physically injured. At this point, DiJonai Carrington, forget about it. You won't beat these allegations.
How can fans trust the outcomes at all? The idea that wins and losses can be decided not by talent or strategy, but by officiating errors puts the entire league's legitimacy at risk. If you're trying to grow the WNBA and make it mainstream, you can't afford to let that slide. That single moment where fans collectively shrugged off a terrible call because they didn't like the player involved was more than just a viral reaction. It was a warning shot. The WNBA's credibility is hanging by a thread and everyone knows it. So now what? What's next for DJ Carrington? Because this moment wasn't just a hit to her image, it was a turning point. Critics may be enjoying the irony now, but it doesn't erase the real concerns about how she's viewed across the league. In fairness, Carrington is a legitimately skilled player. She didn't get most improved by accident. Her defense is elite when focused, and her offensive game has come a long way. But all that progress is being drowned out by the noise surrounding her behavior. When even your own fans can't defend you during a clear-cut officiating blunder, you've got a problem. Carrington's path forward has to start with a reality check. Her reputation is now doing more harm than good. Like,
that might be, like, that is the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. That is actually the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. She just jumped through her. Like, she knew. Like, it is what it is. People will shield or get in the way of the ball and stand there. She just jumped over the back. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back foul. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back. Like, it is at least a foul on Tiffany Hayes, if not a flagrant.
And the league should take notes too. There are some hard lessons here that the WNBA can't afford to ignore. First, the officiating. It's been said before, but now it's screaming for attention. Blown calls happen in every sport, but when they consistently affect games in critical moments, and worse, when they seem to target or protect specific players, you're playing with fire. A professional league cannot allow this level of inconsistency and expect to be respected. Second, the disciplinary system. Carrington didn't develop her reputation in a vacuum. The league let her get away with eye pokes, flagrant hits, and post-game antics without any real consequences. If the WNBA had stepped in early and enforced standards, maybe this entire situation never explodes like it did. Finally, the trust gap. Fans are no longer convinced that wins are being earned cleanly. That's a serious branding problem. If karma becomes more satisfying than fairness, you've officially got a trust issue with your audience.
Will not. Of course they're rescinding the fouls. That's what this league does. All right? Look, people can tell the difference between physical play and dirty play. And now there's a laundry list of evidence. Look, at this point, DiJonai Carrington should have been suspended, fined multiple times over. Of course they will. Now we're gonna hit you with a flagrant, and then behind the scenes we're cool. We're cool. We're gonna rescind the flagrant.
We're going to rescind the flagrant. And let's be real, the shadow of Caitlyn Clark looms large over all of this. You can't talk about Carrington's downfall without bringing up the moment that started it all, the infamous eye poke back in September 2024. That was the origin of this storm. It was one of the ugliest plays of the year. And what made it worse was the league's silence. No flagrant, no fine, no statement, just a superstar rookie poked in the face during a heated game, left to deal with it on her own. And what did Clark do? She took the high road. She didn't complain. She didn't escalate. She defended Carrington's intent and kept her focus on the game. That's why Clark has become the WNBA's ultimate fan favorite. Not just because of her record-breaking stats or viral highlights, but because she consistently shows poise when the league refuses to protect her. Now look at the contrast. Caitlyn Clark responded to a cheap shot with class. DJ Jane Carrington responded to criticism with excuses and more aggression. One player built up admiration and loyalty. The other built up resentment. So when Carrington finally got hit with a blatantly bad call, fans saw it not as injustice, but as poetic balance. It didn't make up for what happened to Clark, but it did feel like the universe sending a message. That one moment, Carrington getting called for doing absolutely nothing wrong, felt like everything coming full circle.